Politicians uniting behind Tinubu ahead of 2027 is a reminder of the days of Abacha, Dele Farotimi. Popular lawyer and activist Mr. Dele Farotimi in this interview by Sam Nwako shares his opinion on the 26th anniversary of Nigeria's return to democratic rule and a number of other issues of interest. It was 26 years on Thursday, May 29, 2025, since Nigeria began the current democratic experience. It has been a mixture of various emotions. How do you think Nigerians should celebrate it? Okay, it is illusional to speak of celebrating anything because it is a difficult time which the All Progressive Congress, APC, has brought in bold relief. We would rather be calling for money as a collective because there is nothing to celebrate and there is no democracy either. Nowhere, there is no democracy anyway. So rather than celebrate, we should, like the people of Nineveh, put on our sackcloth. But there are assurances by those at the helms of affairs that things are looking up in this country. Just the politicians are the ones that feel that, oh, Nigeria will get better because they have a place where they are keeping the money. When you look at our reality today in Nigeria, the country has never been more unsafe. Insecurity has never been more rife. The Nigerian people have never been more deliberately divided along ethno-religious lines by those ruining the country while pretending to rule it. So while they might be busy congratulating themselves that they have never had it so good, and they are completely right about that it has never happened, that corruption is trotting around the broad daylight so unashamedly as what we have today, as in very, very unashamed. It has never happened in the history of Nigeria that those who have criminal allegations hanging around their neck, persons who were yesterday being hunted for being thieves, are today the ones who are at the helms of affairs. It just goes to show that Nigeria is really a zoo country. They are now at the helms of affairs. So how can they possibly say anything other than the fact that it has never been so good? It is so good that they are even coalescing together as one because their interest is served as a collective. But it is up to us, the victims of this misrule and misgovernance, to ask ourselves, where were we 20 years ago? Things are so bad today that Nigerians are yearning for Abacha. That is how bad things have become, and our democracy has regressed so badly that we are seeing hints of the exact thing we were seeing in the last days of Abacha. All the coalition, all the politicians coalescing and acclaiming someone as being the best, and nobody else is capable of anything else. So, just as they were coalescing the acclaim, while they were coalescing the acclaim Abacha, they are today coalescing, acclaiming Tinubu. The politicians are as one. They cannot have anything against one another, but the people who have become as victims to them are the ones who have to be told enough and look at the objective realities and refuse to be bold what is contrary to the evidence of their own senses. If persons are earning less today than they were earning 20 years ago when the naira had not been destroyed in real terms, if electricity has become so expensive as it is today, while salary has not moved, if the price of petrol if the price of petrol that has become as prohibitive as it has become today, and yet salaries as it is has become today, and yet salaries have not moved, life has become so degraded for the people that suicide rates have become astronomical, and they are busy clapping for themselves, acclaiming themselves as the best thing since sliced bread. It is for the people to believe the evidence of their own senses and not accept the delusional declaration of the ruling class. As steps towards addressing the misnomer, we have asked Nigerians to make demands of our rulers that we must demand reforms. Which one do you think should be the best way to start? Beyond sophistry, what are those practical steps we can take to begin to demand these reforms you have suggested? Okay, when I asked to demand electoral reform, and that is the only thing I have placed in the political agenda in the last year, demanding that we should be asking for electoral reforms. I am not so blinded. I am not to be cognizant of the fact that the political class is not interested in electoral reform. I'll explain why. I am asking for electoral reform because that is the pathway to citizenship in Nigeria. If the Nigerians' vote should count, the politicians would earn and will learn to respect the Nigerian. But because our votes have never been allowed to count, the politicians have retained the prerogative to do as they please. So my demand for electoral reform is in actual fact a shortcut to a revolution to make the Nigerian citizens. On the other hand, I do not expect the politicians to accede to electoral reforms demand, but it is my belief that it is for the victim to frame the argument and then stand to frame the government and then stand behind their resolve to be free. It is not for the oppressors to hand over freedom on a platter, but if we do not properly identify the core of the struggles for the people, make them to understand that this is minimum, irreducible, that they should demand from the system, it becomes impossible to awaken them to the fact that they are enslavement. But when we make a just demand for the system, it becomes impossible to awaken them to the fact of their enslavement. But when we make a just demand for the electoral reform, which is centered around the demand for citizenship because of what use are you in the state if you are not labeled citizen, but your vote has no value. So if we couch this argument for the people and they come to the understanding of the fact that this has nothing to do with you as an ethnic person or as a religious person, it has nothing to do with your ethno-religion affiliation and even your partisan ethno-religion. Don't put it there, I don't think, or even your partisan interest. But it is an enduring quality of citizenship to be able to vote for who leads you. So if we couch it in those terms, and these are truthful, honest terms, in which these arguments may seem will mean, okay, we now wait to see what the system would do in response to this just demand. If and when the system predictably refuses to give this just demand considerable consideration, then it becomes legitimate for those of us championing this to call the system out and to galvanize the people to confront that system that would have revealed itself as one that is predicated on the slavery of the people and not their citizenship, because it is not beyond the ken for citizens to demand that their vote should count. What else expresses citizenship, even if you do not have a vote? Oh, Allah. Thank you, Mr. What's Farotimi? What's his name again? Farotimi. My listeners, over to you. Leave your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Bye.